Welcome to MIDI's Innovation Vault podcast. In this episode of Medtech's Next Wave, Innovators from LSI, we're joined by Joe Connell, founder and CEO of NeuEsse, a company revolutionizing wound care with their plant-based skin substitute, Omega Skin. Made from soy protein, Omega Skin regenerates skin with minimal scarring while retaining natural pigmentation, hair follicles, and sweat glands. Despite facing challenges in funding and regulatory hurdles, NeuEsse is poised to enter clinical trials and move toward commercialization. Joe shares how partnerships and strategic alliances will be key in bringing in this innovative technology to the crowded wound care market. Stay tuned as Joe discusses the future of regenerative medicine and his advice for aspiring medtech entrepreneurs.
Welcome to the MIDI Innovation Vault podcast, where we explore the latest medical technology and innovation. I'm Greg Montalbano, your host and COO of MIDI Medical Product Development. So each of our episodes, we sit down with visionary leaders who are transforming the medtech landscape, and we discover and discuss their journeys, groundbreaking technologies, and any obstacles they needed to overcome in order to get to where they are. So today I'm talking with Joe Connell, the founder of NeuEsse and CEO, which is making significant strides in wound care and regenerative medicine. Joseph, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, and good morning.
Good morning. So to kick things off, Joe, could you tell me a bit about your background and what led you to create NeuEsse? And for our listeners who are unfamiliar, could you also provide an overview of NeuEsse's technology and what it aims to achieve?
Fantastic. Thanks for that intro. I've been in life sciences and pharmaceuticals for 40 years and started in a pharmaceutical company called Roche and moved my way up and launched a tremendous amount of blockbuster products in anti-infectives, dermatology, and gastroenterology. And with progress and growth, I wanted to build something of my own. And I have built 7 startups. I took one public, which was a company that took a biopsy of a patient's skin, put it on a collagen wafer and fed it, and put it back on the patients, saving people from burns over 70% of their body surface. So with that, I transferred into NeuEsse. NeuEsse is creating a human skin substitute from soybeans, which is it's a grabber. It's something to get your head around. Our technology takes pure soy protein and electrospin sheets of skin that are readily available off the shelf with no need for handling issues, refrigeration, or laboratory growth like my last product. And it goes into the wound. It is regenerative in as much as our first study was in a porcine model, and we did a full thickness wound and we healed beautifully. We've already published the full thickness wounds have been healed with minimal to no scarring with our product we call Omega Skin. But what we were fascinated with was when we saw the appendages of functioning hair follicles and sweat glands. So here we are with an all-natural plant-based skin substitute that heals with minimal to no scar, and the patient, instead of the thick, slick scar you're used to, we have functioning hair follicles and sweat glands. And the last caveat is that it's race agnostic. Whatever color skin you possess is what you will grow. It wasn't the case with my last company where there was no pigmentation or melanin involved. And whatever we healed, that was white, devoid of coloration. So now we're offering the patients their own color, minimal to no scarring at all, and functioning hair follicles and sweat glands, which should be very disruptive in a crowded market. Even though it's a crowded market, the competition made of pigs, cows, cadavers, the newer products, neonatal foreskins and beyond, and even fish skin, it doesn't offer what we have with a plant-based skin.
That's interesting. So definitely competitive differentiation built into your application and allows you to really set yourself apart from the other competitors. Is there any other competitive differentiation relative to the system that you have? Certainly skin pigmentation's a big one.
Yeah, well, it's all natural and plant-based. I'm not going to hang my hat on that, but the synthetic fiber type of wound dressings do not integrate into skin tissue the way ours does.
Mm.
Omega Skin is vastly different in as much as when it is applied to a wound, it'll absorb all the exudate. It'll look like it melted and becomes translucent, but the differentiator is that our skin becomes your body.
Mm.
As opposed to any occlusive dressing, our skin is not removed. And with that scaffold in place, the keratinocytes and fibroblasts and everything will glom onto it. And that is how and why we're regenerating skin with minimal to no scar. So it becomes your body, which is vastly different than any Band-Aid that has two purposes: to keep moisture in and bacteria out. Our skin really becomes your body.
And does that create a more robust scaffolding relative to protecting the skin and allowing it to heal, or once it becomes part of your body? Just out of curiosity.
What it does is accelerate healing, and the name of the game in wound healing is closure. So we accelerate closure and healing because the scaffold in place allows the body a little help in closing that gap in closure. It's vastly different. Our pipeline includes the second product, which is a liquid sprayable skin. It's a formulation and a proprietary skin gun to allow us to spray skin onto patients without touching them. And if you've ever known a burn victim, which I am one, you don't want anything to touch those raw nerve endings and that wound. So we've got a tremendously robust pipeline, but our product works vastly different in as much as it's all natural and it becomes your body.
Okay, so certainly your advantage is the wound care and emphasis on regenerative capabilities becoming part of the body. Could you walk us through maybe the crawl into the leaves on the tree relative to the science of your technology promoting healing, from a cellular level, and the regenerative benefits, and what's happening in that regard over conventional wound care, as you said, covering a injury and allowing it to heal in more, if you don't mind, in more detail.
No, the Omega Skin made from soy protein isolate is all natural. There's an intrinsic value in soy being the medium for creating the scaffold. We could create skin from corn zane.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to, but we also made sure no one else will either. Our patent allows us to be the only skin that will ever be made from plants. So just something on the shelf that we made this from soy. It's a ubiquitous source. It has intrinsic chemical and mechanical properties. It's a robust fiber. And the cost differential is orders of magnitude less than any of my competition. You can't decellularize animal or cadaverous tissue for less than I can spin soy protein. So it's orders of magnitude less expensive to manufacture, yet we qualify for all the CPT and reimbursement codes as the higher price cost of goods products.
Very good. So, as you know, chronic wounds are a complex and persistent issue in healthcare. So how has the medical community, both healthcare and providers and patients, responded to NeuEsse approach so far? And how does NeuEsse plan to support clinical adoption of this technology moving forward?
Well, we have a diabetic foot ulcer trial poised to take place at Temple University with one of our advisors, Jim McGuire, who is a key opinion leader in wound healing. We can't initiate that until we get FDA approval that will allow us to use it in humans, but we've got that queued up. We intend to prove it post FDA approval for a marketing study that it is superior. If you think of a diabetic foot ulcer, which is very, very problematic, 8 million people a year are diagnosed with diabetes in the United States. They don't give us the luxury of coming in wounds that are circular or squares to match our bandages, but we could fill that cavity with customized liquid skin to fill the cavity. It wouldn't crack, peel, or leave the patient. And we think it'll have a better therapeutic effect than other products and a lot more convenient than products that might peel or leave the body with motion.
Okay. So talk about starting and scaling up a med tech company. So this comes with a fair bit of challenges, to move that ball forward. So could you walk us through some of the significant hurdles NeuEsse has faced in the early stages, and whether related to technology, regulatory process, funding, or others, to kind of give us a vision and give other entrepreneurs, med tech professionals, an understanding of what it takes to get to where you are in wound care.
Well, the hurdles were plentiful. First of all, we've never, ever been fully funded. So our progress has been slower than expected because we've bootstrapped. And the entire time I've dedicated to this mission, and it is a mission and not a job. As a burn victim, I need to get this to people to help them. We've never had the money to go forward with the liquid skin. We have 4 patent families protected in 30 countries, but we haven't had the money to expand into Europe, which we plan to do. We also plan to get into third world countries that can't afford good health care because of the cost differential. That's part of our plan to pay it forward. But, I have worked alone for a great deal of the time. I wouldn't recommend anyone else ever trying that or trying to build a blockbuster company with no money to do so. I wouldn't tell anyone to do that, but I've done that. And we're almost at the finish line. We've had hurdles with bureaucracy. We were relegated to the wrong department in the FDA, which cost us 2 years just to get out of the Office of Combination Products and get designated as a device. We have that covered. We're a device designation, Class 2 medical. We will be filing a 510(k), which is an expedited approval process. If you've ever compared that to a therapeutic, which I have gone through at Roche, which sometimes takes, the longest in history was 17 years, and I went through that with Rimadyl. So we've had some hurdles, money, help. I've had to be everything to everyone, but I've got a tremendous stable of advisors, both business and scientific. So people have helped. They haven't extracted a lot for their help. People really want to see this work, and they've jumped in to help me. But I would tell any entrepreneur, make sure you have some funding lined up or don't jump in.
Mm-hmm. So touching on the partnerships, you're talking about the ecosystem of support that you have, and understanding that partnerships and collaborations are really crucial to medtech startups. Maybe you could talk about the strategic partnerships and alliances that have been especially impactful for NeuEsse in reaching your milestones and advancing your technology.
The partnerships that we have, and I have not opened this up to a strategic yet. We're not large enough to defend ourselves if they want to take us over. We don't have the money to defend patents, although they're covered. We haven't had a strategic partnership, but it is right now time to explore such avenues. I'd like to have a strategic alliance with someone with a footprint in wound healing. Do they have a sales force? We do not. I know that we can make a tremendous impact right out of the gate with bids and contracts because greater efficacy and a substantial price difference, lower price, we think we'll do okay with bids and contracts. But if we had a strategic partnership, that would help the launch tremendously. And we're coming down the funnel to that FDA approval, commercial launch, and it's time to think of partnering.
Okay. So switching gears, let's talk about feedback from different users or potential future users. Often it has a powerful impact on the product's development. And how has input from your customers, future customers, clinicians shaped your product development path or your application or technology? And where were there any particular insights that led to unexpected adjustments or improvements in your technology, application, or the actual wound care itself?
One of the things I can think of as an example is our proprietary patented skin gun. when we got our patent, it looked primarily like a science project. It wasn't ready for prime time. We had a 9-volt battery out of our radio. We had gator clips to ground the thing, but it works, and it's proprietary. It's de novo. And what we did in our evolution is to develop a robust, chunky skin gun that can't be destroyed in the battlefield for a paramedic, with a vision of pairing with the Department of Defense and the Army, most of all. That has to change, because I also have a vision of a much sleeker model of our skin gun that should be in the examination room of every dermatologist in the world. Because not only can we spin liquid skin onto biopsies, breast reconstruction, Mohs surgery, nevus removal, we can spray other compounds to remove wrinkles and other proprietary chemicals in our syringes. So we've got to redesign it again for a sleeker, more beautiful model for dermatology, aesthetics, and also surgery. So that's one pivot I can recall.
Yeah, certainly. You have the basis, in a homeland security application, but yeah, moving it towards a cost-effective, maybe reusable type of application or disposable is certainly logical, and that would generate further revenue stream. Sort of,
right. Well, we've got visions of revenue streams. This is quite applicable to veterinarian medicine. Do you have a dog? I do, and it costs a fortune. Cats. So large mammals that
right now, all the money is spent on 3 dogs.
exactly. I seem to be a rescue magnet, but people spend a lot of money if your dogs, cats, horses get tangled up and need repair. There's an avenue for veterinary medicine. There's an avenue for aesthetics and dermatology. This could be applied in readily available patches to put on after laser ablation of wrinkles. It would accelerate healing, rejuvenate the quality of the skin, and you could shower it off every morning and then put a new patch on. Because right now, the only thing patients have is Aquaphor or Vaseline for healing after wrinkle removal. A protein skin patch would be a great avenue for that.
Excellent. So as NeuEsse continues to grow, what challenges are you currently visualizing, navigating, and are there any anticipated hurdles you're preparing for as you scale up further or have plans to scale up further?
Well, anyone can anticipate a commercial launch pushback from the competition that we intend to displace. We think we've proven that it works better, and we prove that we could sell it at a lower price point. One of the hurdles I anticipate is adoption, which anyone would anticipate before a commercial launch. But we think we have enough to offer with efficacy, safety, appearance of the patient, and cost that it's going to make a noticeable dent into the competition as soon as we launch.
That's
great. Other hurdles, everything I just mentioned. Do we take this on ourselves? Do we do a joint venture? Do we need a strategic partner? All those things are being contemplated right now as we speak. And we don't have all the answers, but we know we're going to come in a big way and get this thing launched to help people.
Great. So thinking about the field of medtech, and it's always consistently evolving, are there any emerging trends that you visualize or advancements in regenerative medicine, could be wound care, could be others, that you believe will significantly shape the industry, whether it's NeuEsse's direction or maybe just the market in general as a whole?
Well, I think I'm always amazed at the conferences and in startup competitions at what people are doing. And regenerative medicine is going to take on regrowth of organs, regrowth of cartilage, bone. And one of the things I'm fascinated with is our own research that we've done at Carnegie Mellon University. We've got one of the world's authorities on growth factors, Dr. Phil Campbell, and he has researched the addition of stem cells and growth factors to our skin. And what we've proven is that the vesicle binding is so robust, it is the perfect platform technology for the delivery of stem cells and growth factors. That will take us into a whole new orbit from dermatology and wound healing and into other applications. But MedTech always has surprises, and there's a wow factor when I hear of other companies doing very, very innovative things in regenerative medicine. So I'm also a student when I go to the meetings to absorb as much as I can.
Absolutely.
But I anticipate a pipeline. We could and we will investigate weaving antimicrobials into the fabric when we create our skin, antifungals, then there's stem cells and growth factors. So I think we have a bright future, and it's time to find someone to grow with, because we can't grow as fast as I want to in the situation we're in right now.
Yeah, as I mentioned in other podcasts, it takes a village, to raise tech technology. There's no one champion. It's always partnerships and supporting each other to make it happen. So I appreciate that. So, lastly, as a leader in medtech, what advice do you give an aspiring entrepreneur or startup aiming to make an impact in a rewarding yet challenging, as you've mentioned, and certainly I've experienced, industry?
I think my advice might sound fatherly, but before you jump in, make sure you have that village, meaning, do you have a partner? Do you have a team? Do you have the money to do everything you envision to make it a commercial success? I have done that for years. Without those things, do as I say, not do as I do. I wouldn't tell anyone to do what I did and to build a company alone without the funds to do so. But get a team, get the money, think it through. I've tried a few things that didn't work and a few things that have, but experience is the best teacher. And if you don't have all the skill sets you need, find a team that you can trust. That's my advice.
That's good advice. So Joe, thank you for your time to share your journey and your insights with MIDI's audience. And it's been incredibly valuable to learn about NeuEsse and the future of wound care and regenerative medicine.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it.
That's great. So that brings us to the close of the episode of MIDI Innovation Vault Podcast. A big thank you to Joe Connell for sharing NeuEsse's story and his perspective on challenges and advancements in this field. And we hope the conversation has provided valuable perspectives. So be sure to stay tuned for more in-depth discussions with MedTech innovators. And don't forget to follow MIDI on social media for updates. Joe, thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of MIDI's Innovation Vault Podcast, MedTech's Next Wave, Innovators from LSI. Thank you for joining us on this episode of MIDI's Innovation Vault Podcast, MedTech's Next Wave, Innovators from LSI. We hope you found Joe Connell's insights on wound care, innovation, and entrepreneurship inspiring. Remember to subscribe to the MIDI Innovation Vault and stay tuned for more episodes of MedTech's Next Wave, Innovators from LSI, where we continue to bring you the latest innovations and thought leaders from across the medical technology industry. Until next time, keep innovating and pushing the boundaries of what's possible in healthcare.